Hi friends, thank you to my subscribers, you guys keep me going. Like I promised, here is part 2 in the series of how to use HTML5 to make websites in 2020. In this video, I will teach you about HTML5 tags to help you understand what they are and how to use them, so that by the end of the tutorial, you will be able to use tags and create web pages. My name is David. I train people about coding to help them become better software developers. Do not forget to subscribe and hit the bell button below to be notified whenever I release new content. Thank you. Let's dive in. So what is a tag? A tag is the smallest unit of a web page, whereas a web page is a set or collection of HTML tags in a document or file which is saved with the .html extension. What are the different types of tags? There are two types of tags in HTML, i.e. the block and inline tags. A bit on that later. What are the different tag formats? In HTML, we use two formats to write tags. I call one the opening and closing format, and the other I call it the self-closing format. So with the opening and closing format, the tags wrap around content. Like you see the example you see here. You see HTML, then dot dot, then HTML. The dot dot is to denote, is a placeholder for content. However, you see there's a slight difference between the first and the last, or between the beginning and the end of the sentence. You realize that the first one does not have a forward slash in it, whereas the last one has a forward slash in it. If you look closely at this, HTML and HTML. So the first one indicates that we are starting the tag, and the last one indicates that we are ending the tag. And that's how the opening and the closing format is. Whereas the self-closing is about a tag closing itself, because these tags usually do not wrap around content. So for example, the image tag is written like this, and starting with a less than symbol, then the word img, then a forward slash, then a greater than symbol, and that's how a self-closing tag is written. Can you use them interchangeably? Yes, you can use them interchangeably, but I also have to warn you that HTML, you will not create a custom HTML tags. You find all the tags predefined. In fact, in the description of this video, I'll share a reference to HTML tags for you to dive deeper after this tutorial or after watching. What tags are we going to look at today? We shall look at many tags, including the div, span, all the way to the a tag. So let's dive in. Yes, if you recall, in part 1 of the series, by the way, if you did not watch part 1, I'll share it in the description below for you to catch up and watch, because it gives a clear introduction to HTML5 for you who don't know HTML5. So today we are continuing to tags, and we said we are going to look at the div tag. But if you remember from the first tutorial from part 1, we said that with every HTML document you begin with a doc type, and here we go. So we begin with a doc type because it's mandatory, followed by the HTML, because the doc type is meant to tell the browser and HTML validators, We shall look at HTML validators in the future videos. Tells the HTML validators and the browser that this document is of a type HTML, and every HTML document must have an HTML tag. So we shall go on to the head, because we said the head contains tags like the title, which appear in the browser title bar or in the browser tab title. So for example, we shall say tags. We can just write whatever we want here. Then there are other tags like meta, like like meta, like link, so on and so forth. We shall look at in the future. They all go in the head. So but today we shall work in the body. So we said we shall look at the div tag. So the div tag is written like this, and you see a div tag falls in the categories of the opening and closing tags, because it has a beginning and an end tag. So in the div, we can put things, we can write anything like a heading 1 and say this heading is within the div tag. We can write something like that. And why have I really introduced you to the div tag? Most times than not, you find yourself dividing your HTML document. I mean, your HTML document, you'll be dividing it in different sections, and you use the div tag. Why? Remember I said that we shall look at block and inline tags in a bit. So this is the time. What the div tag does, it is rendered as a box. Of course, you won't see the borders, the background color, unless you specify them, but it's rendered as a box, so it draws a full block on a browser tab, so that the subsequent or preceding div tags appear as if they were written in paragraph formats. So each div tag will appear on a new line. That's what we mean by block tags. So for example, if I write anyway, before I even write the second one, let's first preview. I had created the tags.html file already. For those who don't know how to create files, I'm using a text editor called VS Code, and I'll go to File, then New File. So after creating the new file, I'll go to Save As, or even Save. Then I'll choose a location in my computer where I want that file to be, and I'll write the file name. Of course, replace file name with anything. Then I'll put a dot, then the HTML, and click Save. So that will create for me a file. Let's close out this. It was just okay. By the way, now let's go back to our, so we like to preview our page and see how it looks like. So we shall go to Finder. For those who are using MacBooks, shall go to Finder, then locate where our files are, and we shall, okay, let me use a search here so that I don't waste a lot of your time. Lessons, HTML5, then we shall look for our file, which is tags. Then we can say open with, and you see when you say open with, several apps are displayed, and I'll use Firefox in this case. So do you see there are two things to note here? One of them is the title, which is tags. If you remember here, if you remember the word we put here, tags, then the second thing is this one. You see, this is what we put in the div tag and in the HTML tag called h1. and you see it's really bold and big. So I want us to add a second. I want us to add a second div tag, and we see what I mean by block. So we shall go right here and we shall create another div. And the good thing about VS Code is that as you write the first tag, it auto-completes, so it saves much of your typing time, and it also helps you not to make errors, because like I said, there are some things called HTML validators, which validate HTML, and if your HTML is invalid, the website you create might not be ranked in search engines. So in this one, we shall put a paragraph and say this is the paragraph. No, we can say this is the description of our heading. Please note that it is not bold and large. Okay, so let me do something here. View appearance. No. View. I'm looking for this. Toggle word wrap. The reason I've done word wrap is so that you can be able. My screen is not large, as I'm working on a 13-inch MacBook. So I wanted you to be able to see the opening and the closing tag. That's why I've gone here, view, then toggle word wrap. Toggle is like switch on or off. So you can also use the options key and Z. So you can do this to toggle it on and off. So yeah, that's how it is. So if we go back and preview, of course, to see the changes, we shall refresh. And I said to refresh, if you remember in the first video, you click this button, this icon here, or right click in the viewport. The viewport is this area here, this area where the web page is displayed without these icons, without the tab bar and this area here. So the viewport is where the web page is. So you can right click here and click the refresh button or icon. So you see whatever we wrote in the second div tag has appeared on a new line. You know, it has appeared on a new line, and that's what it means, the term block tags. It means a tag that creates a new block or whose content will appear on a new line whenever you create more than one of those specific tags. The blocking tags are quite many. The paragraph tag is among them, the H1 tag, the table tag, the image. No, I doubt whether the image tag is a blocking tag. It could be an inline tag. But let's look at a span tag as an example of an inline tag. And so, for example, if we wanted, I'm going to introduce something that you've not seen before, and I won't explain it because I'll explain it in the future. But if we wanted to add here something that is a red note, you know, we could write a span tag and say red note. This is why I said there's something I'm going to introduce that I've not yet introduced, but I'll explain in the future videos. For those of you who are new, now this word here is going to appear on the right side of the paragraph. It won't appear on a new line, you know. So to denote that it's an inline tag. Have you seen that? Instead of it appearing on a new line, it has appeared on the same line with the paragraph, and that's how an inline tag is. An inline tag does not create a new block on a web page. It does not create a new line. Instead, it appears side by side depending on where you've placed it in your structure. Because you remember we said HTML defines the structure of a web page. All right, let's continue. We can look at another inline tag, the A tag, which is used to create. It's called the anchor, and the anchor, the word spelled like that, and it's used to create links in web pages. You know, for example, let's see how we can bring page 1, which we wrote in the previous part or in part 1, to this document. So we shall put it at the top here and say a href. Don't worry about this that I've not explained. I'll explain in the subsequent videos. So let's go to our page and preview. So you see here page 1, and it has appeared at the top because we've written it outside the div tag. And if we had written it inside the div tag, let's see how it would appear. It would, like, for example, if we wrote it inside this h1 tag, let's say a href, let's not even add other things, and we say click here. So let's preview. So I'll refresh, and oh no, it has been colored. I really want it to be unique, so let's add in something here and say href nothing, and so you see it is appearing at the right side in our heading, and it is not breaking the line. So that's how inline tags are. That's how inline tags are. Let's go to, let's see. So we said we shall look at the div there. So let's look at the hr tag. The hr tag is meant for rendering a line, a horizontal line on a web page. So like this, hr. You can write it like this or this. So the second one is the preferred or recommended way, because it will be treated as a valid tag. But this one here won't be considered to be valid because it will be missing the self-closing. So the HTML validators might treat it as an invalid. So if we write it this way, it will render a horizontal line. Let's take a look at it. We said we refresh. Yeah, that's as simple as that. So let's look at another tag. Let's look at the UL or an ordered list. Have you seen bullets on a web page, like items which have bullets? Like, let's put here an heading 2 and say unordered list of items. So the way we write them is by, I had to scroll a bit, is by writing a UL tag, and like I said, VS Code automatically brings the closing tag for you. So the way we write unordered list is that we enclose them, unordered list items, we enclose them in the UL tag, which is a short form for unordered. Then for each item that we want to appear there, we write it in the list as a list item. So we can say let's say what, which let's hope we have pets at home and our pets have cats, then there are dogs, then fish. Oh my god, I like fish. um, then we have rabbit. Wow, do you guys like rabbits? I mean, they look nice to me, really nice. So let's preview how they look like. So we shall refresh, and that's how you make unordered lists. That's how you put them on a web page, and as simple as that. I wonder why people think that coding is hard, but if you grasp these things, of course it took me a number of years to understand them, but it's because I was self-learning. I was learning by myself. And like you hear me speak, English is not my first language. So I had to understand English and also translate the technical terms to my own understanding. But I mean, if there's someone who's teaching you, like I am teaching you right now, it will be a little bit simple. So let's go back to the code and look at the ordered lists. The ordered lists are those that have numbers, and usually you write them with the OL, you know. So let's say uh, what? Let's say our favorite cars. Wow. What's your favorite car? Mine is that. Then, okay, Mercedes. I don't even remember the right spelling. I think I also like Lamborghini. Uh, is this how they write it? Lamborghini. Then I think I also like what's that car called? Ferrari. Oh, yes. So we can put here a heading so that we can separate them from, and we say our favorite, oh my god, spellings, favorite cars. So let's go and preview. Yeah, you see, so that's what I said. The unordered have blades, the ordered have numbers, because you can use them interchangeably. It depends on your use case. So HTML is that simple. It's not complicated. And then let's look at another tag, which is before we look at the table tag, which tag we've so far looked at: the div, the span, the unordered and ordered, the horizontal, and shall we look at the image tag? Yes, let's look at the image tag before anything, because uh, this, I have to tell you that I really got trouble with the image tag, because the image tag has two parts to it. It, basically two parts to it. You write the image, and you also specify the location of the image on your computer or on internet. So for example, we write it like this: img, then write this src, which is a short form for source, which means that we are going to specify the location. And so this src is what is referred to as an attribute of a tag. So attributes specify more details about a tag. You remember in the beginning, in part one, I spoke about attributes. I said that I'll help you understand the concept of HTML tags, of HTML5, including tags and attributes, web pages, and websites. And this is an example of an attribute. I know even in the past I've specified attributes like this attribute here, like the span, like the style attribute. Somewhere here I specified the href attribute. So these attributes are different for different tags. For the image tag, it's the src, and it is for specifying the location. For example, if the image that you want to specify is somewhere on internet. For example, if the image is let's try and look for an image online. There's a website called Pixabay, and we are going to look for something in Uganda. So let's say mountains in Uganda. Oh, good. Yes, so mountains. This in Uganda. Yeah, this should be in Uganda. This one here should be a mountain in Uganda. Oh no, it's a stock image. I want free images. I want free images. Oh, no, no. Okay, let me just say free. No. Let me just say mountains. No, mountain Rwenzori. Yes, one of the mountains in Uganda. For those of you who don't know Uganda, and I think it's the biggest mountain. It's called Mountain Rwenzori. So we shall go here, and yeah, here you go. So we want to get the location of this image. We want to get the location of that image and use it. How shall we do that? Share? Yes, I think share gives us a link to the video. Let's try and take it. Copy link. Let's try and take it. So you put it here. This is the location, and then you put the / and then let's preview the web page. Oh my god, my computer is producing a lot of noise. Sorry. And oh, it has not appeared. Yes, when something like this appears, it means you've not specified the location of the photo clearly. So in this case, we are going to save the photo. We are going to save it on our computer in the same directory as our web web pages. So by directory I mean folder. For those of you who don't know, another name for the directory is the folder. And I will go here and right click and save image. So I look for the location, which should be in documents, and oh no, documents, workspace. Pardon me guys if you hear noise in the video. Yes, where I am it's not very silent, and somehow something is overusing the CPU of my computer, so it can make a lot of noise. But with time we shall improve. Pardon me please. Mountain Rwenzori. So yes, I encourage you whenever you are saving a file in webs, not all files, but if you are doing a web, if you are saving a file, instead of you putting a space in the file name, put an hyphen. It is loved by the search engines. I know you may, as a beginner, you may not know what I mean by search engine, but in subsequent videos we shall understand. So I'll click save. Now that is saved. So if it's saved in the same directory where our web pages are, we shall just come here and write the name, which is mountain. We called it Mountain Rwenzori, but we need to know the file type, which is the file type is here .jpg, and we shall go back to our code and specify it .jpg. Then we shall go in the browser and refresh. Voila, There you go. That's how you put images in web pages. You see, I think we are up to speed. I can only wish we complete HTML5 in the next video. So let's look at another tag so that we don't waste a lot of time. Yes, let's look at the table tag. A table tag is meant for, like you see, the image tag is meant for displaying image. The ordered list is meant for displaying ordered items. The unordered is meant for displaying items with bullets. The div is meant for creating sections in a web page. The anch tag is meant for linking, for creating references to different web pages. And remember, in the beginning of the video I said we shall clearly understand HTML tags, attributes, web pages, and websites. And at the beginning of this part 2, I described, or I defined, a web page, and I said that a web page is a collection or set of HTML tags. Like this file here, the tags.html, is a web page. Now, a website is a collection of web pages. And how do you get a collection of web pages? Is by having web pages, many of them, like we have page 1 and tags. Those are two different web pages. If we link them together using the anch tag, using this tag here, that means we've created a website. Now, it will be a website on our computer, but it will need to be deployed on a server for it to be a full website. We shall see all of these things later. We shall see how to deploy and whatever, but I think we've looked at linking web pages together. So now let's look at the table. A table tag is meant for rendering tabular data. Data like, I don't know if you know Microsoft Excel, or those of you who use OpenOffice. I don't know if you know something called calc. Usually we display data in tabular format. So for example, let me try to open up the Excel app, and we see what I mean. So Microsoft Excel, oh, where is it? Yes, it has come, and I'll click on blank. So the data that is displayed like this, like let me say if it's a budget, you have item, you have description, probably you have unit price, you have quantity, right? I don't know. And maybe you have total. So then you start putting items here like shoes, then I don't know what you, maybe wedding is what you put. Then unit price, for those of you, don't worry, this is not dollars, this is UGX. And maybe you want 3 pairs, so now those 3 pairs cost a total of 90,000 Uganda shillings. So I can actually, in order not to intimidate those who are using a pound and the USD, so total in UGX. Yes. So if we want maybe ice cream for, I don't know, maybe it's 5,000. Maybe you want for 20 kids, and 5,000 times 20, that's how much, that's 100,000. So this kind of data is rendered on a web page using a tag called the table. Let's dive in, let's look at it. So table is written like this. Then the table has sections in it. It has the heading, it has the heading, it has the, let me write them here, it has the heading section, it has the body section, so let me say sections of the table are the heading. So, and let me remove this and put it here. So 1, the heading, 2, the body. As if you remember very well, we said that the comments are not rendered, they are not displayed to the viewers, and the footer, so let's look at them. So the head is written in the table head, the body is written in tbody, as simple as that. The footer is written in tfoot, as simple as that. Then we want to indicate that, our table is about, so because you remember, if we go back to our, if we go back here, the tabular data usually has rows and columns. So the row is this line here, and the columns are A, B, C, D, E. Those are the different columns, and the rows are denoted by numbers. That's in a spreadsheet application like Microsoft Excel, like Calc. Now in HTML, this is how we denote a row. If we want to say that in our row we want to say that in our row we have an item, we have item, description, quantity. Okay, we shall do with the description and just say item, unit cost, quantity, and total. Okay, so the way we shall do it is this. We shall say th means th starts a column which is the heading, so, and it will be bold, so we shall say t item, then we shall write another and th, and we shall say what did we say? We said unit price, something like that, unit price UGX. Then we shall say th, and we shall put here quantity, then we shall come to this and say total. Okay, so that's how we shall do it. Then we shall go in the body. By the way, in VS Code, you can, if the code is long, you can collapse some bit. So for example, I can collapse the div tag like clicking on this collapse symbol, and I can also collapse this so that I can prevent distractions. So even for the table head, since I'm done with it, I'll collapse it. Then I'll go to the table body. Now, in the table body, you create a new row because you are going to have a lot of items, in rows and columns. So you are going to, so for whichever item, it's going to be in an independent row. So that means we shall create a row like this, and we shall create our item. Now, because this is a normal item, we shall use the td tag, which is a short form for table data, whereas this one is table heading, th. I don't know why it's similar to this. I'll research and find out, but it's also in full, it stands for table heading. And so to put a column for our first item, which we called shoes, we shall do this. Then we want to have the unit price, which we said 30,000. Then we want to have another TD for the quantity, and we said we want 3 pairs, and the total cost of those pairs is 90,000. Then we shall copy this and create some new items. So we can set dress, and each dress is maybe 250,000, and we want 2 dresses, and that's 500,000. Yeah. Oh, then we shall go to what do ladies like. We shall we've already put shoes. What other item? Maybe trousers. Then trousers, they are usually okay. A pair of trousers maybe at 180. Then we want 1 pair, and the total cost is 180. So let's preview and see what we've created. So shall go to our browser and refresh, and below here is our tabular data. Down here I may have to increase the fonts so that we see them clearly. Here they are. So you see they don't have borders on them the same way you see here. They don't have borders. But what happens is that in the future we shall look at all of that. In the next video we shall look at how we can decorate and make it better. But right now I want us to display the grand total in the footer section, and in the footer section we shall create a row. Then we shall create a table heading because we want it to be bold. We shall create 2 of them and call one, and in one of them we shall put grand total. No, we shall call it subtotal. Then what's our total? We have 90,000 and 500 and 180. So that's what? That's 680 plus 90. That's 600. That's 700. That's 770. So I don't know if my mathematics makes sense. So yeah, I don't know if my head is wearing out. So this is the subtotal, but this is the grand total. But you realize that it's not in a line. It's not lined properly, because we would expect this 700 to be in this column here, but it's not. So how do we do that? We can either put blank TDs to move in line with our subsequent excuse me, to move in line with our subsequent columns in the previous rows. So we can do it that way and put blanks, which is not advised, but let's look at it. Let's see how it will appear. So you see the blanks we've put, one of them has appeared, has moved in line with this column, and the other has moved in line with this column. But that's not what we really want. We don't want to have blanks. So what shall we do? We shall introduce an attribute to this, which is called call span, and tell this first column to span columns in the previous rows. We shall tell it to span 3 of them, and that will mean that it will cover 3 space of 3 columns, and yeah, that's how it will be. So realize that the subtotal, that you realize that our total here is in the right alignment. Well, that's it. Thank you for sticking around. This video has been long, pretty long, like 40-50 minutes, but I thank you for sticking with me and staying with me for this long. uh, I encourage you to subscribe if you are new to this video. For those who subscribed, thank you for supporting me. Please come back and watch more content. Bring comments to advise on where I can make things better, to advise on, you know, and to collaborate. And if you have YouTube channels, let me know so that I can also subscribe and follow you. I I would like to give special thanks to Hamza of GoTech UG for the support, and TechPress for the support. TechPress, in the previous video, you said that you mentioned that you'd like me to increase the font size because you use a mobile phone sometimes while watching these videos. Please let me know if uh, if the way I've increased them is what you meant, because I'm new to this, but I'm happy to learn and I'm happy to know whether I've served you. Uh, Thank you very much. Cheers.